Hello friends, I am Sanchit Mehra and I would be explaining about conversion operator overloading in C++ today. Here we would be seeing that how we are able to convert our class type into any another type using our conversion operator and how we overload that in C++ to have another type. Okay, so here I have a class here. Okay, and here we have this test class, a user defined type here, in which there is a character pointer which would be pointing to a memory on a heap. Here in the constructor I have assigned a single character memory here, and here I'm assigning a value. So simple, it's our type and we want it to convert into another type. Okay, and we will overload the conversion operators. Okay, so with this conversion operator we can enable the implicit conversions as well as the explicit conversions. Okay, so what we basically mean by it is that with implicit conversions the compiler automatically does the job. Okay, it reads, it parses the line of code and it sees whether it makes sense to convert uh, your class type into the required type. Then it automatically converts that type into another type, and that's called an implicit conversions. I mean, there is no manual mention of typecasting needed here. The compiler does the complete job for you. Okay, whereas in explicit conversions the manual intervention or the programmer has to manually mention about the type that it wants its class to be converted into. Okay, so we will cover both of these conversions so that it will become more clear as we go through the example. So let's start firstly for implicit conversion. Okay, so how does it goes is like it's we have this operator keyword, and then let's say I want to convert this in this class type, I mean the user defined type into an integer. Okay, so I'll write it as operator int, the type which I want to convert it into, and then the parenthesis, and then here my logic for converting for converting into an integer. Okay, so I'll have a very simple logic here. Okay, it's just for explanation, so I'm converting it into, let's say, whatever the value it would be converting, I'll simply converting it into an integer here. Okay, so I'm keeping it simple here. Okay, so here it should implicitly convert when I would be writing here a statement, a simple one, which is, let's say, test. Okay, T1, and I just have pass a single character here because its constructor takes a single character, and then it initializes a memory on heap, and then it assigns a value onto that memory. Okay, so this statement, this constructor here, it's called and it does the job for me. Now I want this to do the job of implicit converting. When I write a statement like this, int val equals to my object here, which is t1. Okay, so that should do the implicit typecasting here, because when the compiler sees that, yeah, this is the type of test and it's being converted into a type which is an integer, so this operator overload of converting this type test into an integer type would execute, and it would do the magic here, it would return this value. Okay, so that is an example of implicit conversion. Here we are not mentioning that we need to convert it into an integer. Okay, there is no needed, because it just uh, it just passes this and sees that there's already an overload for this present, and it automatically does that. So let's, for seeing whether that's correctly, we can have a logging, simple logging here. So implicit conversion converted to int with value, and we can have the value here, which is val. Okay, like this. Now let's see it, compile it and see whether everything is okay. Yeah, it's still succeeded and implicitly converted to int with value 65, which is what we were expecting here. Okay, the value of caps a in char is 65 here. Okay, so it's you see that it's implicitly converted. Okay, now let's see an example of explicit conversion where we do not want the implicit conversion to happen. Okay, here it should be a programmer's call to whether we want to convert it or we do not want to convert it. Okay, so let's have an explicit conversion example here. Explicit conversion example here. So if we want to have an explicit conversion here, then we have to mention explicit keyword here. Okay, so it should be explicit keyword, then operator, and let's say I want to convert it into a char pointer, simple. Okay, and I would have this parenthesis open close and then my logic for converting into char star. Okay, so here just for learning purposes, let me return a simple the member variable, which is again a character pointer here. So I'm converting this test type into a character pointer here. Okay, and then I mark this as an explicit. Okay, so if I do it like this now, let's say char c, oh sorry, char pointer, let's say c equals to my object, which is t1. Okay, so let me see if that gives me an error. Yeah, it gives me an error, no viable conversion from test type to char star, because I've marked this as an explicit conversion. Okay, so I have to mention the explicitly. Okay, so if I do it like cast static cast into char pointer, then I think it should suffice here. So yeah, the compiler error has gone and I think this would compile okay. Yeah, and so it's a unused variable, so we can use the logging mechanism here, and explicit converted to char pointer and has value. So let's not print a address here, let's print it the value only. So let me print this is sorry, this is C, the pointer, and I would dereference it to get a value here. So let me run it. Yeah. So implicitly it converted here into the integer, and explicit, well, I have to mention where I have to explicitly mention it to convert it into char pointer. So here it would see that already there is an explicit operator conversion operator is there. So it would run this, pass it would return a character pointer, and that would be returned here, and your type is explicitly typecasted into what it was required into. Okay, so basically that's friend, this is all regarding this explicit and implicit conversion and how you can use the conversion operator here. You can overload it. Okay, and you can have as many conversions as you want your user defined type to be converted into, and you can mark that as an explicit also if you want the programmer to have that conversion mentioned so as to convert that into that particular type. So that's all, my friend. I hope you like the video. Do like and subscribe my channel for such kind of useful info videos. Thank you.